Hey guys, welcome to Cooking in the Kitchen with Jeffrey. You're probably wondering why I'm dressed up like this. Well, the reason is because when you're cooking or baking, normally you dress up in an apron, but a lot of people forget. An apron is for safety reasons, so you don't get your clothes dirty. And the hat is just a hat. Here's a trivia question for you guys. A chef's hat has 100 holes in it. How come a chef's hat has 100 holes in it? Guys, think about that. I'm going to tell you in the next video. Because the next video is going to be a baking video later on today. Today's video is all about making jalapeno cornbread, which is a delicious thing that you can have with chili, which I'm going to make with you guys one day, as well as any other pasta or just simply by itself as a snack, as long as you don't eat too much. And yes, I'm guilty of that. I just want to talk to you before we go ahead and make the jalapeno cornbread, is that there's specific kind of dishes you can use to go in the oven. This kind of a dish, which is a square dish, can go in the oven. And this round, not round, but this other square dish, which is smaller, this dish for bread, can also go in the oven. Most commonly, this is the shape that you use. And if you're not sure of whether or not it can go in the oven, look on the bottom of it. And this one actually says oven proof and microwave safe, made in USA. No comments on that, but this can go in the oven because it says oven proof. So, advice, look on the bottom of the pan before even using it and putting it in the oven to make sure it's oven safe. We're not going to be using these pans today. We're going to be trying something different, and I'm very proud of myself, and I'll explain why later. One of my little chefs on Wednesdays who's learning how to cook has wanted to use a bud pan. I finally have a bud pan here, so we're going to be using that today to make our cornbread. Notice the shape of the bud pan. It has a spout on it, and then it has bottom on it. This doesn't say oven safe, but it is. And I'll explain why later when I show you my triumph. Anyway, this is a bundt pan. So the first thing we do is we wash our hands, which I've already done. Then we take our oven, preheat it to 350 degrees, which I've already done. And I hope you guys have done that. And then what I want to do is, it has been suggested that you take your bundt pan and you put a little bit of vegetable oil in it and stir it all, mix it all the way around. Not mix it, but pour it all the way around so that your vegetable oil is covering the bottom of the pan. Then you can either take a paper towel or you can go like this. I would recommend a paper towel, but go like this so your bundt pan is all covered as much as it can on the bottom and on the sides as much as it can. Then take your bundt pan and put it aside for a minute. Now comes the fun part. Construction of this little thing. Okay, first thing you do is you take your bowl, your big bowl. This bowl has a sliding mechanism on the bottom so that it cannot slide when it's sitting. Notice it's sitting on the cutting board like this. Notice how it's sitting on the cutting board? What I've done is I've just demonstrated to you guys that, see, when it's sitting, if I push it, see how little it slides? If you take your bowl and put it on the counter, see how much it slides? Better to have your bowl on the cutting board. That way it won't slide as much. But you still have to watch it. kids, I would recommend doing it this way, not on the counter way, because if anything slides and hits anything, you'll feel badly, just like I did. I've been through experiences with that. Don't ask what they are. I'll tell you in private one day. Okay, so anyway, there's your bowl. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your flour, which is a cup and a half of flour. So you take your measuring cup, making sure it's dry, and you take your flour, which is off here, and then you measure your measuring cup right to the top. This is a 1 cup measuring cup. So there's a cup of flour, and then you take half of that. It's too much, too little. A half a cup. When baking, try to be exact. Cooking, you need to try to be exact too. But baking, you need to be more precise with it. So, which means exact. So, cup and a half of flour in there. Now you take your cornmeal, which I almost didn't have enough of this morning, and you take it, and the recipe says 1 cup of yellow cornmeal. So again, you measure your cornmeal right up to the top with 1 cup. Now let's just see if that's 1 cup. Not quite, that's half a cup. So I have to open my other bag. So what you do is you take your bag, take a pair of scissors, of course, and what I would recommend doing in a case like this is I would just don't cut across the top, otherwise you're going to have a problem. I would recommend taking your bag like so and cutting a piece a little bit in the corner, making sure it doesn't get into your measuring cup, and then pouring it down until it reaches 1 cup. So it's now reached 1 cup. So we've done that. I'll show you what to do with this later, how to store it. An easy way. So you measure it out, and it's 1 cup of cornmeal. So you take your cornmeal and you stick it into your flour like that, and then you take your sugar, which is 2 tablespoons of sugar and baking powder. So sugar, 2 tablespoons of sugar. Okay. When measuring, this is half a tablespoon. So 4 halves would make 2 tablespoons. If you have a 1 tablespoon measuring cup, use it. But I just used 4 halves, which makes 2. Just a measurement lesson, but I wouldn't recommend doing that until you're comfortable with the other way of doing it. Okay, baking powder, 2 tablespoons of baking powder. So again, half a tablespoon. 2 halves make 1 tablespoon. So half, 1, half, 2. Okay, so there you have your 2 tablespoons of baking powder, all and everything put into your bowl. So once you get up to your baking powder, salt. Okay, people have told me that too much salt is not good for you, and I believe that. So what I'm going to say is for salt, 1 teaspoon of salt. Okay, 1 teaspoon of salt. Okay, I'm going to show you guys something while I'm at it. which I've shown my other groups, and they know, and they're good at doing this. Okay, when you're measuring something, okay, just take a break for a second. When you're measuring something, you measure something here, and if you get too much of something on your tablespoon or teaspoon or whatever, and you have to level it off to make it exact, which I'm trying to encourage you all to do, just simply take a knife and level it off like that until it's perfect. Because the last thing I want to do when you guys are baking, or see you guys do when you're baking, is get too much food or have your food ruined by using the ingredients that are too much. And it calls for the exact amount. So try to be exact, please. I just put that back in the, because we're not using it. Okay, so we've done the salt. And stir to mix. Okay, so now we need to stir it to mix. So we need our trusty little stirring thing called a spoon, like this. The spoons can come in metal or they can come in wood. The problem with metal is they get too hot. The problem with wood is they collect things on them. So it's a catch 50-50. So I researched that one, which I'm going to research as well. Personally, I prefer the wooden ones. The metal ones are, again, they get too hot too quickly. But it's up to you guys. I suppose it's a personal choice. Let me research that, and then one video we'll discuss that. It's up for debate, as I said. So if you have any pointers, please put them in the comments section below, and I'd be happy to read them because I want to learn about that too. All right, going back to the jalapeno cornbread, now we have to mix it. So mix it together. Mix it together. Boy, that looks good. Okay. When it's mixed together, it should look just like that. Just like that. It should mix it together. It should look just like that. How does that look? Good enough to eat? I think not. Okay. Then we put that aside for the moment. And then we take a small bowl that we have. Okay, a small bowl which we have, which we'll use this one. And then we will mix in it milk. And how much milk do we need? Cup and a half. Milk's good for you. Don't let anybody fool you. Milk is good for you. It's good for the bones, for anybody at any age. And it comes from those wonderful things called cows. So we have a cup. Okay, so 1 cup of milk and a half. So a cup and a half of milk. Again, making sure to be as precise as you can. And kids, if you're not comfortable being precise or need work on that, because yes, it takes a while, then ask your mom to help you. There's no shame in asking for help. I had to do it as I was growing up, and I still have to do it. Okay, cup and a half of milk. Okay, and then egg and oil. So 1 egg. So we go to our little egg thing, and we get 1 egg. One egg and milk. We've done the milk, so oil. How much oil do we need? Okay, the oil, 1/4 cup of oil. Using vegetable oil. I can't strongly stress enough about vegetable oil and how important vegetable oil really is when you're cooking and baking. There are other oils out there such as canola oil sunflower oil, you know, all those different types of oils. Some that you never really use, some that you use all the time. And whisk it all together. I will discuss in the future the kinds of oils as well. Now there's lots of things to learn when you're cooking and baking. And I know I keep saying I'll discuss them, but I want to get them slowly to discuss them. So what we're going to be discussing next time in our discussion video, which is going to be starting pretty soon, is the types of utensils that are in the kitchen and what they do. It's not going to be a baking video, it's going to be a discussion video on utensils and equipment in the kitchen. I'm going to do one of those too. I'm still going to be doing baking videos, don't worry, and cooking videos, don't worry. Okay, so after we've whisked that together, now comes the fun part. You remember this little guy that you made, where you put things in a bowl with the flour and all the other stuff, and then you whisk this stuff together. What you do is you take your bowl very carefully and you put all of your wet liquids into your dry liquids. Try not to mix everything together at once. They ask you to do that for a purpose. Okay, so you mix it together. And remember, there was a group I did a long time ago where we made brownies 2.0. It's a recipe I found online. Not online, on a TV show, which I'll talk to you about in a minute. Mix it together, but don't overbeat it. Because if you overbeat it, you get gluten and it gets very, very hard and it just doesn't taste as good. And you want your cornbread to taste good, don't you? I hope all of you want it to taste good. Okay, so fold in the chopped jalapeno peppers and red flakes. So I've got my jalapeno peppers, which are here. I've got my jalapeno peppers. Get a little spoon out. Actually, I can use one of these. Just get a few jalapeno peppers out. These can easily be bought at your local grocery store, such as Thrifties or QF. Recommendation QF if you live in the Parksville area, because it's closer and there's less people. You obviously know the reason why it should be less people, but anyway, such is what it is. Okay, so you take your peppers, cut them up. Oh, those look good. Those look really, really good. Peppers, cut them up. Cut them up. Like so. There's your peppers once they're cut up. There's your peppers once they're cut up. Pretty cool, eh? Okay. Now you take them, you stick them into your I just did a bad thing. You guys can probably tell me what I did wrong. I touched the peppers with my hands. I shouldn't have done that. So what I'm going to do is knock the peppers into there with my knife to make it easier. I'm going to bring these back here. I'm going to take some red chili peppers and I'm going to stick them in. The more chili peppers you use, the hotter it is. So we put some chili peppers in. We round it up. And we mix it in a little bit. Okay. And we mix it up with our red chili peppers. You may notice a bit of flour left in there. That's okay. Resist the temptation to overbeat. A little flour is better than too much flour. Don't worry about that. Okay, so you mix it up, put it there. Take your bundt pan, which has your oil in it so that nothing sticks. Take your spoon, stick it there into your bundt pan, mix it up a little bit, and now you may notice that it's not flat. That's normal. So what you do is you take your spatula, rubber spatula, and you just take it and you just rub just spread it so that it's even shape. When you are ready to cook it. Boy, that looks good, doesn't it? I know you can't wait to get it in the oven. I know you can't wait to get it in the oven. Okay, so what you do is you get it in the oven in a minute after it's all shaped round. This is called the bundt cake, bundt jalapeno pepper cornbread. Again, it's not a normal thing to do, but it is Christmas, right? So what you do is you take it. It should be round like that. That's what it should look like when it goes in. No fingers, please. No tasting it. Then you take it to your 350-degree oven and you put it in and you time it for 25 minutes. 25 minutes is a guess. Now guys, it's cooking, and by the time it's finished cooking, this video will be finished. So what I have done is I've gone ahead to try it, and this is the end product of what it looks like, because I already have one made to show you. That's what it looks like. Jalapeno cornbread in a bundt pan. That's what yours should look like. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope that yours comes out just like mine did. But if it didn't, my advice to you is do not worry. Do the best you can. I hope to see you guys in the comments section about how things went. And I hope you all have a Merry Christmas. And I'm going to be back later on today. I'm going to be back with another video, one final video before Christmas, about some Christmas cookies that I'm going to be making for Christmas Eve for Santa. So I hope you can join me for that one as well. Anyway, let's all hopefully get together next year in person, and then we can do this again. This isn't the end of the videos either. And I would like to just wish you guys again a very happy Merry Christmas. And I will see you on the next video for cookies that we are making for Santa, which is coming up later on tonight. Hope you enjoy all my videos. Take care, guys, and one day I hope to be cooking with you in the kitchen, because there's no such thing as cooking alone. It's better cooking with somebody, isn't it? Oh, guys, I just want to tell you, 6 o'clock Saturday night, there's a TV show that I love. It's called Cooking in the Kitchen on Czech TV, Channel 3. It's a half-an-hour program, and the guy gives some very, very good recipes, and he gives some very, very good tips as well. I would suggest watching that if you're interested, and any other cooking show that's out there, so many of them, and you might pick out some tips. If you see it, if you have any tips for me, send them to the comments section. I'd be happy to read them and comment on them, and we can talk about them. And again, Merry Christmas to everybody, and we'll see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye for now. As you can see, I'm having fun in the kitchen. Bye for now. The answer to the trivia question is coming up next video. Goodbye.